Here we have the 2016, this is question 12, this is junior cert higher level, and this is a question on trigonometry. We're just going to do the part B because the part A isn't really trigonometry. So we're told to use trigonometry to find the length of the side marked x and then give your answer correct to 2 decimal places. So what we can do here is, well, on our course, the only things that we have learned, the only ways that we can solve triangles, we've only learned how to solve right angle triangles. So the only tools that we have on our course for dealing with triangles is Pythagoras and the ratios, which are sin, cos and tan. That's all. And Pythagoras, we need it to be a right angle triangle, and sin, cos and tan, we need it to be a right angle triangle. So we have no kind of, on our course, ways of actually solving when it's not a right angle triangle. So when we get into this situation, we have to make it into a right angle triangle. So if I draw a line here all the way down, that's going to be halving both of them. Now I have my right angle. And the whole length of this is 7. So this length from here to here is going to be 3.5. And this length here is 3.5. So, and these triangles are going to be the same because those angles are the same. So these sides are also going to be the same, because if two angles are equal in measure, then the sides opposite these angles are equal. And then because by side, those triangles would be congruent. So we can say that they're both the same anyway. So we're asked to find the length of the side marked x. So now we're going to maybe just think about one of the halves of the triangle. So 3.5, 70 and x. So if we want to get x, well, I might use one of my ratios. So I can use, so I have 3.5 is my adjacent in this case. So adjacent, and x is my hypotenuse. So I need to find one that gives me adjacent and hypotenuse. So if I look at cos is the adjacent over the hypotenuse, so that might be the best one to use. So cos of an angle is equal to the adjacent over the hypotenuse, and there is like a rhyme that I can learn off if I want to, which might speed things up for me. So ka toa. So the sin is equal to the opposite over the hypotenuse. The cos is equal to the adjacent over the hypotenuse, and the tan is equal to the opposite over the adjacent. So S is the sin, O stands for the opposite, and H stands for hypotenuse, and that's the same for each of them. So we're going to use the cos because that's the adjacent over the hypotenuse. So the cos of 70, because 70 is our angle, is going to be the adjacent, which is 3.5, over the hypotenuse, which is x. I want to get x by itself, so I want to solve for x. So what I'm going to have to do is, the only way of getting rid of my fraction here is to multiply both sides by x, because if I do one thing to both sides of the equation, it stays the same. So now I'm multiplying by x on the top and dividing on the bottom, so it will cancel. So then I'm left with x cos 70 is equal to 3.5. But I don't want to get what x cos 70 is, I just want to get what x is. So I'm going to have to divide both sides by cos of 70. So divide both sides by cos of 70. So I'm just going to get a different page. So I was left with, so we were is equal to 3.5 and then cos of 70. Cos of 70. So I'm just literally after copying what I got down here. So now we have cos 70, so they cancel because they're multiplying and dividing by it. So x is equal to 3.5 cos 70. And I would recommend only leaving out a cos 70 for now, because if we actually work out what cos 70 is and we round it too much, because when we work out what cos 70 is, we get a lot of decimal places, and if we don't keep all those decimal places, we mightn't get the correct answer at the end. So it's better to keep it accurate as possible. Keep it as cos 70 until you have to. So it's 3.5 on the top, and then cos of 70, and then close bracket, and then I get that x is equal to 10.23. And they say to give your answer correct to 2 decimal places, so that would be correct to 2 decimal places. So that is my answer for X. And I'm just going to draw, because this is going to be important for the next question, I'm just going to draw out what we know. So we know this is 70, 70, 7, X is 10.23. But when two angles are the same, well, the sides opposite these angles are also the same. So this side is also 10.23. So then we're told that the prism is shown this. So this is the base of a triangular base prism. So and now we're told that this prism is shown on the right. So I'm just going to draw out the prism that they give us. So they're using this. This was forming the base of a triangular based prism. So I'm just going to do my best at drawing it. So so thereafter filling in some, actually I'll do a better job of drawing that. So just to draw it a bit bigger so we can, they do give us the diagram in the question also. So I'm just going to label in what the sides that they've given us. So 12, this is 12 here, this is B, this is A, and this is C, and this is X, and this is 7. So they say the prism is shown in the diagram on the right. It has a height of 12. 3 of its faces are labelled A, B, and C. Find the area of each of the faces labelled A, B, and C in the diagram. Give your answer correct to the nearest centimetres squared. So X, we already figured out that that was 10.23. And so say if we wanted to, so this side here is also going to be 7. Because it's just the exact same, and this one is going to be 10.23, and then it's just rotated differently. So this side, because there's two 10.23, so this side here is going to be 10.23. So to getting the length of A and B is going to be quite easy for us. So the area, so these are just rectangles because it's just the rectangular part of the prism. So to get the area of part A, it's just going to be 7, which is a base, multiplied by the length by the width. So 7 by 12, and then we get 84. So A is 84 centimeters squared, and then B is going to be 12 by 10.23. So 12 by 10.23, 12 by 10.23, and then we get B is equal to 122.76. So the trickiest part of this is probably going to be getting what the area of C is. So if we want to get the area of a triangle, the way that we get it is half the base by the perpendicular height. So if we want to get half the base by the perpendicular height, so what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to actually get the perpendicular height of our triangle. So this is our triangle here. So all we have to do basically is get our perpendicular height, get this height here. So what we can do is we can, like we did before, separate it into 2 right angle triangles. So this is, because we only can deal with right angle triangles, this is 3.5, this is 10.23. So we can use Pythagoras to get the length of this side. So let's just call it x. So the hypotenuse squared, so 10.23 squared is equal to x squared plus 3.5 squared. So if we work out 10.23 squared, we get 104.6529 is equal to x squared, and then 3.5 squared gives me 12.25. So if I want to get x by itself, I'm going to move the 12.25, I'm going to minus 12.5 from 2 sides. So 104.6529 minus 12.25 is equal to x squared. So 104.6529, 12.25. And then I get x squared is equal to 92.4029. So if I want to get what x is, I have to get the square root of both sides. So the square root. So the square root of 92.4029. And then I get that x is equal to 9.61. So I might leave it to correct to 2 decimal places. So if I want to get the area of this, so in this triangle, I'm saying that my perpendicular height is really, say this would be a right angle. It doesn't look like a right angle, but it would be technically. So my base, is 7. My perpendicular height is 9.61. So my area is equal to a half base by the perpendicular height. So that just means perpendicular height. So a half my base, which is 7, by my perpendicular height, which is 9.61. So 0.5, half 7 by 9.61. And then I get that the area is 33.635. So that's going to be the area of my triangle. So that's going to be the area of C. So that's my answer for that question.